Welcome to Keys to Success. This is a video in our Get Ready for Successful Speech Therapy series. I'm Nancy, an Alberta Health Services pediatric speech language pathologist, also called speech therapist. Learning a new skill takes time and practice, and it's helpful to take it one step at a time. Your speech therapist will work with you and your family to make a plan that includes key ways to make it successful. There are three keys to successful speech therapy. They are the just right challenge, repetition, and generalization. In this video, we'll look at each of these more closely, and in the next video called Practice, 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 we'll talk about how to include them in speech practice. The first key is the just right challenge. Before we talk about the just right challenge, we need to know how children work on speech sounds. It's a step-by-step process. We don't just start working on a sound and expect your child to say the sound correctly the first time or remember it all the time. We work step by step to get to their goal. The first step is to make sure your child can hear and pick out the sound from other sounds. Then they practice the sound by itself, then in syllables, then in words. From there, we go to words that are a little longer and then phrases or short sentences. With practice and help, your child will learn how to make the new sound correctly everywhere and all the time. Let's look at an example. Let's say your child needed to practice their k sound. First, they would practice listening for the sound. For example, we could ask your child to point to the picture that has a k sound.
Yeah, listen. T and key. Which word has the k sound? You point and you show me. That's great.
Once your child is able to do that successfully, we would move to the next step. They would practice k on their own. We would try different ways to help your child learn to make the sound by itself.
This time, I want you to open your mouth really wide and say the k sound. Great job. Can you say it 3 times in a row? Well done.
Then we'd get them to practice k in syllables like k, ko, ku.
Liv, this time we're going to make the ka sound. So you make the k sound and then keep your mouth open nice and wide for ka. Ka. Wow, that was fabulous. I heard a really nice strong k sound at the beginning of that.
Next, they would practice k in words like cat or cow.
This time the word is camel. Camel. Fabulous. That had a really great k at the beginning of that word.
The next step would be to practice longer words like caterpillar, or in short phrases like I see a cat or a brown cow.
And we're going to say that k sound in our word for cow. You listen to me first and I'll give you a nice big sentence to say with it. Are you ready? All right, Liv, here it is. I see a cow. Yeah, now it's your turn to say the whole thing.
I see a cow.
Whoa, well done.
They might have to practice k at the ends of words like book or lake, or in the middle of words like monkey. So now that we've talked about the step-by-step process of learning speech sounds, let's talk about the Just Right challenge. The Just Right challenge means working on a speech sound at a step that isn't so difficult it'll be frustrating for your child, and that it's not so easy your child won't make progress toward their goal. To find the Just Right challenge for your child, we start by finding the step where they can make their sound correctly. Then we use strategies and offer lots of support to help your child move to the next step. Some of the ways we can help are using a mirror to see how you make the sound, using a gesture like pointing to parts of our mouth, giving directions or reminders like, remember to use your sound. As your child starts a new step, we offer lots of support to help your child make the sound correctly. Then, as they practice, we slowly give fewer reminders so your child can make the sound correctly on their own. Together, we can learn the strategies your child needs to move to the next step. Sometimes children move through steps quickly, They may even skip a step. Other times, they may stay at a step a bit longer. The second key to successful speech therapy is repetition. The way we all learn something is to do it over and over again until we know it really well. Children have to practice and practice their speech sounds before they become automatic and they're using them all the time. This is especially true for sounds they have difficulty with. Instead of saying practice makes perfect, we like to say practice makes permanent. Children need practice so they can hear and identify the sound, learn the motor pattern for that sound and how their mouth moves to make it, and to make it automatic in their everyday talking. When learning a speech sound, your child needs lots of practice. This means practicing several times per week. With each practice session, it's best if they can repeat the sound as often as they can. 50 to 100 times is what's recommended. Let's say your child is practicing the k sound again. We would want your child to say that sound 50 to 100 times in one practice session. This might seem like a lot and feel overwhelming at first, but you can start small and work your way up to that number. It's also important for your child to make the sound correctly when they're practicing so that they're not practicing the wrong sound. The goal is to practice the sound correctly to make improvements. If your child's having difficulty making the sound correctly most of the time in practice, talk to your speech therapist. The third key to successful speech therapy is something called generalization. Generalization is the ability to apply new skills to new places, situations, and with different people. So when your child learns to use a new speech sound, they need to be able to generalize it. This means that your child is able to use the sound outside of the speech session and home practice. They also need to be able to use that sound with many different people. In speech therapy, we'll talk about ideas that can help your child generalize the sound that's right for the step they're on. For example, if you're at the beginning of the step-by-step process, you can emphasize the sound for your child throughout the day. To emphasize the sound, you would say the sound a little longer or a little louder in the words you say. Or you can pause slightly before you say a word with their sound in it. If I was emphasizing the k sound during a meal, I might say, "Do you want your cup?" or "Do you want another carrot?" As your child learns and can make their sound correctly most of the time during practice, we might encourage you to start correcting and giving gentle feedback to them about their sound throughout the day. You could say, "Remember to use your k sound," or "Oops, you forgot your k in kitchen. Let's try it again." Remember, just because your child starts to work on a new sound doesn't mean we can expect them to use the sound all the time. Your speech therapist will talk to you about ideas on how you can correct your child in a supportive way at the right time. Correcting your child too much can be very frustrating for them, and it could make them feel bad about their talking. Let's take a moment to review the keys to successful speech therapy. First, there's the just right challenge. We'll work at a level with your child that's not too easy and not too hard so they can make improvements. Second, repetition. Children need to practice several times a week. The recommended number of repetitions is 50 to 100 in one practice session. Children need this much practice to learn a new sound. Third is generalization. This means using new skills in new places with different people. Your child will need help to use their speech sounds in new situations. We hope you feel more familiar with the keys to successful speech therapy. To learn more about speech practice, watch the next video in this series called Practice, Practice, Practice.